Hello everyone! Today DJI released yet another firmware update for the digital FPV system, and today I'd like to go over the release notes. Their almost monthly release schedule for their FPV system. And this month it looks like the primary focus has been on what they call the Air Unit Lite, or what I believe is a firmware update that's mostly focused on supporting the Caddx Vista, which is what DJI is sort of calling their Air Unit Lite, so that they're not talking about a very brand-specific version of their hardware. And I don't know, who knows, maybe some other companies, maybe Foxy or somebody's also working on something very similar. But before you update everything, you should notice that DJI also released an update for the DJI Assistant. So I suggest, even if you don't have the Caddx Vista or any DJI Air Unit Lite, you go download the latest version of the Assistant, which is version 2.02. The original version was just version 2.0. No idea what happened to version 2.01, but this is what's available today, and I suggest grabbing this, installing that first before you do any of the other updates. And you can see here that the release notes for the DJI Assistant 2 DJI FPV series pretty much just says there's new updates so that they can support the DJI Air Unit Lite. So, I don't know, probably not a big deal if you don't do it, but might as well grab the new version while it's available. And it doesn't look like the DJI Assistant auto updates itself. So I went to DJI's website, went here, downloaded the latest version, and started from there. Alright, so once you've got the new DJI Assistant, and you get all of your firmware updated, here is the release notes that'll explain what all the new features are. So as you can see, the first thing up here is that we've updated it to version, basically it's the version the 3.0 or the third release, although it's really the fourth release if you count that the first one was version 0. Alright, so what's new? They've added support for the Air Unit Lite, and this is just their way of saying the Caddx Vista, which is sort of a light version of the DJI Air Unit, is reaching people's hands now, and they need to be able to update their firmware and make everything work. So they had to release this to go along with that. They have also added an on-screen display for the remote controller signal strength. This sort of clears up a confusion a lot of people have had, myself included, that in the bottom left corner, the signal strength meter, we weren't sure if that was the signal strength of the video reception or if you're using the DJI radio like I am. Is that also the signal strength of the radio? Now they've added right above that video strength in the bottom left corner, they've got another set of bars that'll show you the strength of the remote controller. So you won't be as afraid of going too far and having a failsafe or anything like that, or if, like for me, when I'm sitting in my car flying and I've got my controller down in my lap, there's probably a lot less signal reaching through the car than the signal coming off my goggles. So I'm really curious to see how well that works and lets me know how my controller signal strength is doing. Alright, so next there is optimized custom on-screen display of goggles by updating center point icon. I have no idea what that means, but I get the impression that DJI sort of uses the word optimize as a way of saying that they've kind of fixed a bug or they've improved something a little bit. I'm not really sure, but they've optimized the custom on-screen display of the goggles by updating the center point icon. Someone else is going to have to tell me exactly what that means. They have also optimized the settings for flight controller protocol. After setting the protocol between the Air Unit and flight controller, the Air Unit no longer needs to be restarted. So they've just improved things a little bit so that you don't have to restart the Air Unit when you've changed some settings. They have optimized the on-screen display of goggles in certain situations after customizing the on-screen display settings. There must have been some sort of a bug or an issue when you were making custom changes to the OSD settings, and this says that they've fixed those, or at least they've optimized them. And here they've actually fixed a rare issue. I'm not sure how rare of an issue this is. It's something that people in the Facebook group complain about all the time, and I see it just about every time I fly. The issue is the public channel was displayed incorrectly after enabling custom on-screen display on goggles. If this is what I'm thinking it is, when you're out flying and you've got your own custom OSD, sort of almost randomly while you're flying, a box will come up in the corner saying that you've switched to the public channel when you really haven't. It doesn't mean anything. It's just sort of a bug where a box shows up, distracts you, and says something that's totally not true. And that's really it. It just says how to update the firmware and make sure you restart everything and make sure everything's on the same version. Make sure, especially with the air unit light, that you've got good ventilation so it doesn't overheat. But that's it. It's a really short update. They're probably trying to push this one out quickly because people are now getting those Vista units, and I believe Chinese New Year's coming up, so there's probably a big break for everybody, and maybe the next firmware release is not going to happen in February, but maybe they'll push it off a little bit later. But anyway, I just wanted to make a quick video to keep everybody informed in case you missed the fact that DJI released a new firmware update today. So go out there, download it, get it installed, test it out, and try to tell me what the heck optimized custom on-screen display of goggles by updating center point icon means. And as always, thanks for watching.